Hey Jags, welcome to this week's episode of JAGcast. I'm Joe Mike Bonadonna, and today we're going to talk about the cell phone policy. And who better to talk about that with than our principal, Dr. Gettings.
Welcome. Joe Mike, thanks man. Appreciate you having me.
Yo, thanks for taking time to do this.
No problem.
So, first off, we should just start off with what's a basic summary of the policy for those who are just a little uncertain.
Yeah, it's a great question. So the Missouri State Legislature, last legislative session, so in the spring of last year, passed a bill that kind of had a lot of different education stuff in it. Senate Bill 68 is what you probably would see if you went out and Googled it, things like that. But within that bill was the cell phone part of that bill, or the technical name is personal electronic devices. Obviously, when we think about that, we think of cell phone as the best example of that. But essentially what that bill did for all schools in the state of Missouri is ban the use of those devices during the instructional school day. So for us, that's from 7:25 a.m. to 2:15. So, you can have your cell phone on and utilize it in that morning up to 7:25, and then obviously from 2:15 on, you can use your cell phone there. But during the instructional day, we've got to have them turned off or in airplane mode and put away.
Got it. Yeah. So, speaking of the ban, we've had it for a few weeks now. Through the first few weeks, what positives have you seen throughout the school, and how do you hope it continues throughout the rest of the school year?
Well, I think one of the things that I'm super proud of is you guys, our students, have done a really, really good job for the most part of doing what we've asked you to do, right? And I'm just really appreciative of that piece of it. What I'm hearing from teachers as we talk about this and continue to look at it is just a sense of people being more engaged in class, and work, assignments, etc., getting done in more of a timely fashion than maybe they have been in the past. And I think as we continue to build those habits and continue to stay more engaged in class than what we've been over the last few years with cell phones, I think that's going to benefit all of us as we continue to move forward. So I think the level of engagement, not just doing the work that teachers ask you to do, but just engaging as people, right? Talking to each other. I think those pieces have certainly increased because we're not always sitting here looking at a cell phone all the time. So and it's got to be a benefit for us, I would think.
Yeah. And speaking of that, are you surprised with how well the students have adapted to it and responded to it?
I am surprised, and it's not that I didn't believe that you guys would do that. You just you just don't know how that's going to go. Right, it's new, and we're all guilty of it, staff included. We've become pretty addicted to our cell phones. Yeah. So especially for our older students, trying to break some of those habits, I thought would be pretty hard to do. Yeah. And so far it's been good. It's been a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Yeah. And again, that's a testament to our students. But we've got to keep that going. Obviously, we're off to a good start, but we want to continue to make sure that we do that the right way throughout the whole course of the year.
Yeah, and speaking of that, to the ones who try and not follow, or the ones who don't follow it, what are the consequences that are put in place against that policy?
Yeah, it's a good question. So we have a whole what we call scope and sequence, and so the first couple of times with the cell phone or the headphones, or any other personal electronic device, there's going to be some warnings that are given to you by your teacher. Then you're going to have a conversation with your administrator, and we're going to contact home and make sure that parents or guardians are aware that we're having these conversations. If we can't get it figured out by then, now we're going to start into our detentions, right? So you would start with a 2-hour detention. And then if we were to have to address it again, then you're looking at 2-hour detentions. And then past that, you're looking at days of ISD.
Okay. And we're almost done here, but there's one more thing. So obviously when this came out, there was obviously mixed emotion. There was not a consensuous opinion on this. And to the parents and students out there that are not for it, against it, questioning it, what would you say to them to have them almost think the different way or persuade them to think that this is can be a good thing.
Again, good question. So I would say give it a chance, right? Allow us to work through this. And I think what you have to remember is this is going to help us as a whole school over a period of time. I believe that students will be less distracted. I believe students will be more engaged in the work that they're doing, which is going to improve their learning and their skill sets. And that's going to pay off in terms of what you want to do past high school, right? I believe there will be less discipline issues in our school. I think it takes, I don't know if you would admit this or others would admit this, but I think it takes some stress off of you guys, right? Where you're always constantly feeling like you've got to be looking at your cell phone or see what's going on and those things. I think that takes a little bit of that away, right? And I think overall, ultimately, if we can make our school a place that's special, right? Like everybody knows that when we come here every day, this is different than the world outside and everywhere else. And you know you're coming here, you're going to get a good quality education. People are going to pour into you and try to help you grow. On your end of it, your part of the deal is you're going to lean in and be a part of that as well. I just think in the end it makes us collectively better and it makes us treat each other better. And I see a lot of positives with it. And it's something that we can do, and I think time will tell, certainly. But overall, I think it'll make this place a better place.
Yeah, and I know I, for one, was a little questionable. I mean, obviously, being teenagers, we're all glued to our phones, but I mean, it's really not that bad. It is cool to see some of the kids who usually would be on their phones. Everybody's interacting. Yeah, everyone's talking. It's really it's not as bad as people may seem.
Yeah, and I don't think so. And I think just like with everything else, man, you over time, right, the more you do this, it becomes a habit. And then all of a sudden you're not even thinking about your cell phone during those periods of time, right? Exactly. I mean, it's just that's just what it is. You've built this habit and you're good to go. And it's a change for us as staff also. Like, we talked about as a staff, like, hey, we've got to make sure we're modeling this for our students, right? We don't need to be on our cell phones either, right? Yeah. We need to make sure that we're doing it the right way. So there's been many times over the last couple of weeks as we started school where I've been walking down a hallway and my phone, I can feel my phone go off. And, I kind of reach back like, hey, I'm going to check my phone. But then I'm like, no, I'm not doing that because I'm asking our kids not to do that.
Exactly.
Right? So I'm not going to do that. Right? And that's taken a little bit of time to get to that point, but I'm getting better with it, just like hopefully everybody else is.
Exactly. Yeah, it'll get better over time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's all I have. Is there anything you'd like to say as like a final message or...
Yeah, again, I just want to say, thanks, hats off to our students for the good work that you guys have done to help, do this the first few weeks. We got to keep it going. We can't just say, hey, it's been a good start and finish. The phone just went off right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So, we've got to continue to keep that moving forward to really see the full benefits of it. And then I want to say a shout out to our staff. They've worked hard to try to be consistent with it around the building, and hopefully you have found teachers at least talk to you a little bit about the cell phone policy and why they think it's important and why they think it will help our school, and so I just let's just keep it rolling.
Exactly, indeed. Well, thank you for joining us again. That's all for this week's episode of JAGcast. I'm Joe Mike Bonadonna, signing off.